Hey guys, I am so excited to make these freezer meals. This is a pre-recorded class, so if you want the freebie with all of the recipes, the shopping list, the labels, click the link in the description below and I'll send it to you via email. Let's go ahead and get started. Hey, I am Kelly from the Family Freezer, and I am so excited to show you how to make 12 healthy freezer meals for after baby. So are you pregnant right now and hoping to stock your freezer? Is your daughter, daughter-in-law, best friend, sister pregnant and you want to help her out? Are you simply a fan of freezer meals and you want to make a bunch that can be eaten 12 nights in a row? That's me. But regardless, this class is for you. And right after class, I am going to send you this freebie. This is pure gold. It will be in your email. And inside, you're going to find super simple, super organized recipes. A full shopping list organized by aisle at the grocery store. Labels that you can print and either print on stickers and attach to your bags, or you could print on paper and tape them on. Now, when I send this after class, make sure to check your email. If you have Yahoo, if you have Hotmail, if you have AOL, you might not get it. Check your junk mail. I don't know why those emails don't like us, but if you have Gmail, I can guarantee it's going to be there. Everyone else, check your junk. Find this. You're going to love this. It's so good. Now, I know a lot of people watching already belong to my membership site. Thank you. And thank you for coming and watching me. If you haven't, I'm going to do a demo at the end. I'll show you how it works. It's one of a kind, and I'm going to share a discount if you want to join because this is a game changer. You're not going to believe how easy it is to make these meals. Let's go ahead and jump in. We're going to do recipe number 1, which is turkey black bean chili. Now, these are all recipes that are tried and true. I've written them. I have tested them. They've been in my cookbooks, my blog, my membership site. I will share reviews with you as we go. I'm not testing anything on you today. I want it to be amazing the very first time you make it. Now I'm going to go ahead and add 2 cans of black beans. These are rinsed and drained. I already did that before class. Believe it or not, I taught a class once where my can opener broke. Not good. So I learned my lesson. I always open ahead of time. Let's add some tomato sauce. Just going to pour that into my bag. 1 more can of tomato sauce into our turkey and black bean chili. And then I will add diced tomatoes. These are not drained. And this is all in your recipe. I really write every detail in there so that you don't need to be taking notes during class. You can just soak up all my tips. You can relax. You can enjoy yourself. I'm going to try and clean up as I go. Also to our chili, we are adding corn. This is about half of a 16-ounce bag. It's a cup and 2/3, if you can see it. Go ahead and dump that in. I'm going to use my hands. I wash them right before class. And then our seasonings, lots of good seasonings that make this taste good. Paprika, chili powder, cumin, oregano, garlic powder, crushed red pepper flakes, all going into our chili. Now, I don't know about you, but when you look for a new recipe, do you read the reviews? I always do that. I'm always reading what people changed, what they liked. So I pulled some reviews from my membership site. Kim said in this recipe, she uses half-pound ground turkey, half ground beef for extra flavor. Comes out flavorful, delicious, no other changes, topped with crushed Fritos, shredded cheddar, and sour cream. So good. I'm going to be adding ground turkey, but I'm glad that Kim said that and I like her toppings. Georgina, my family absolutely loves this dish. Wasn't sure how they would take it, but after the first bite, they told me I could make this anytime I wanted. That means it's a hit. Yeah, that's great, Georgina. Yeah, and I also, so with every recipe, I have suggested side dishes. So for my kids, we always have this with like shredded cheddar cheese. They like chips. They either dip them in or crunch them up. It really depends on the child. I have 5 of them and they're all picky in their own way. So I'm going to move this out of the way because we're ready for recipe number 2. They really go that fast. I'll keep it in the front. And recipe number 2 is chicken noodle soup. This was on my blog at one point and we said it was better than Panera's. So that's a big promise. But I love this recipe and I make it all the time. This is a big hit in our house. I'm going to add a cup of diced onions. Now, I am using these frozen diced onions. I kept the bag so you could see what it looks like. This is sold for $1 in my local grocery store and includes about 3.5 onions, if a cup is considered an onion. And I'm using them in these recipes as a shortcut. If you can't find them, you absolutely can just go ahead and dice your own onions. It just takes a little extra work, maybe some extra tears, but I'm gonna use these frozen dice just as a time-saving hack. And also for our chicken noodle soup, I bought pre-diced celery. I just wanted to save a little bit of time. And also, I don't know about you, but then I buy those big things of celery and I don't always eat it all. It's like, what do you do with all that celery? I think maybe I could eat it, but I can't convince my kids to get on the like ants on a log, peanut butter, raisin train. So I thought it might go to waste. So I'm just gonna do this, add a cup of celery, and then I am going to freeze the rest of this. I'll just freeze this in a baggie for future soups. So I love when nothing goes to waste. I have diced carrots, just peeled and diced. So good in this soup when it cooks in the crock pot or the Instant Pot. I have both directions on your recipe for you. And then I am going to add seasoning: salt, thyme, celery seed, and turmeric. Now I can tell you that I have tried thousands of freezer meals over the past 9 years. Like, that sounds crazy, but really it's been that long. I started making these meals after my second daughter was born. Let me just move these over here. And they can all be frozen raw. That's the trick to making a bunch in an hour. That's how you keep making them year after year after year. I have 5 children now. My life hasn't gotten easier. Like, does life ever get easier? Does it get slower? I don't know, but I'm not complaining. My point is, though, that these work. These will work for you, even if they're after having a baby or after your daughter is having a baby. They're gonna work, though, for years to come. And I got hooked after my second daughter was born. And what I love about freezing these raw is that they come together so quickly. We don't need to spend a whole weekend prepping freezer meals. I don't know if you see those on Pinterest or Facebook. People are just like, their kitchen's a disaster. They're so tired. And I mean, you really can't do that when you're pregnant, right? Like, especially when you're pregnant, you can't be on your feet like that. I would even suggest sitting on a stool when you're prepping these meals, even if they take you less than 2 hours to make. But we're not doing that here. We're freezing everything raw. And let's see if we need anything else to this meal. Oh, did I already add that? Yep, we already have all our veggies and our seasonings. And I'm gonna add the meat at the end. So I'll add all of the fruits, or all the produce, canned goods, seasonings, spices, everything now. And then at the end, I'll leave the meat in my fridge, put it all in at the very end. And this soup also gets wide egg noodles. I add those in the crock pot or the Instant Pot at the end of cooking. So I already bought some. I'm gonna keep them in my pantry. And then when I make this meal, I'll just toss them in at the end. Let's see if I have some reviews. Okay, so Clarissa said, I just bought your membership and we tried the chicken noodle soup tonight. Oh my gosh, my daughter was licking her bowl. I'm so excited to try more this week. I'm even told my sister about it. She's gonna sign up. Thank you. You're so nice to have quick meals that are healthy and delicious. Okay, Clarissa, thank you for sending me that. That was over Instagram. Thank you. And I should point out, these are kid-friendly, which is so great if you're pregnant or after baby and you have other kids. So these will work for the whole family. And let's go ahead and move on to recipe number 3. We're gonna just go right through these. I can tell you I've had a whole range of experiences of prepping meals while pregnant. So for my first daughter, I didn't prep anything. I didn't know what I was doing. Then my second one, I did 2 weeks worth of meals. That'd be like what we're doing here. And I was like, I got this. I've done, the most I've ever done is 40. That was like total overachiever, right? That was when I had my son, my 4th child. And then by number 5, I was like, let's do like 10 to 15 and then call it a win. So, but these are the best. It's so good to have these meals after you have a baby, or even if someone has surgery. Anytime you're down and really can't cook, so nice to have healthy homemade meals on hand. Recipe number 3 is Korean barbecue chicken. I need to add fresh coleslaw mix. This is so good in the crock pot or in the Instant Pot. It's such a time saver. It's just grated cabbage and carrots. We're gonna dump the whole bag in. It cooks down. It looks like a lot, but it cooks down and it's good for you. It's almost like a side dish built right in to the recipe. We also need fresh ginger root. So this is something I didn't prep ahead of time because I wanted to show it to you if you haven't used it before. We're using it in 2 of our recipes today. And this is the little piece of the root. If you order it online, make sure you specify the length or you're gonna get a root that's like this big. You're like, what do I do with all this ginger? And when you cook with this, you have to peel it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and peel off the, I don't know if it's called the skin. I don't know. I'm going to take that off. Oh, it smells so good. Now, I try to use ginger powder in some of my recipes. It's very flavorful. But there is something about fresh ginger. If you use it in your recipes, it adds extra flavor. It smells so good. I had a smoothie yesterday that had ginger. It was Daily Harvest, not sponsored. Just sharing some love. And it had ginger and greens. It was like a little spicy. Oh my gosh, it was so good. But let's go ahead and, now, this is about 2 inches because I'm going to use it in 2 separate meals, just about 1 inch per meal. And all I'm going to do is just, I think I list on the recipe is grating it. You could do a box grater. I'm just going to dice it very small. That's going to be my plan. So I'm just going to kind of chop it up into little pieces, and we'll put half of it into our Korean barbecue chicken, and we'll do the other half, I believe it's in our Japanese beef teriyaki. But I'm going to go ahead and cut it now so it's ready. Now that you know what the ginger root looks like, now that you're not nervous or intimidated by buying it at the store, it's a great ingredient and you're going to want to use it. You might start using it instead of ginger powder. I might write ginger powder on a recipe and you're going to be like, sorry, Kelly, you got me hooked on the real stuff. No more powder. And you could freeze this too. Sometimes if I do get like a larger root by accident, I might freeze some in a little freezer baggie. And that way later, if I need just like a tablespoon or something, I don't have to buy more. I don't have to keep it on hand because it's not something I use all the time, but it really packs a lot of flavor. It makes the dish so delicious. All right, let's go ahead and add this here. Now I told you that I've made thousands of freezer meals, and I'll explain that it all started 9 years ago. I now have over 20 cookbooks. We have 40,000 members of our freezer cooking site. So I know people are here today. Thank you guys. You're the best. And then our recipes have been featured on BuzzFeed, foodnetwork.com, todayshow.com. I mean, it's like mind-blowing that this is the business. My husband and I started this. We've been working on it together for so long. And it's just crazy to think that it all started from us needing these time hacks, us like just always struggling, like find enough time, spend more time with our kids, spend more time with family, trying to save money, trying to eat healthy. And it's what you figure out is you're not alone. Like everybody needs that. So I'm excited that something that we love and are so passionate about has been able to help so many other people too. I have my fresh lemon juice. I use the whole lemon. Nothing's going to waste. Hold on one second. And we're just going to pour this. I'm going to make sure, it might be just a couple tiny seeds. I'm actually going to strain it with my hand just to make sure I get all the lemon juice in here. Get it all? Yes. So you're going to see me throughout class using this apron. This is a freezer cooking apron. My mom is a genius. She created it. So oh man, it's already a mess, which is good because it's a mess and not me. But I'll try and stand up. I'll try and show you the whole thing because what the idea is taking a towel and sewing it onto the apron. Because she saw me like reaching for paper towels. I'd probably use a whole roll of paper towels making these meals. And she said, what if I just sewed a towel on? And it's like, yes. And yes, you would do that because you're amazing at sewing and I am not. So she made this for me. She started selling them on Etsy. I will put a link in your freebie with your recipes if you want to buy one or if you want to give one as a gift. She's only one person. Sometimes she sells out, but she is always restocking because a lot of people have bought these and love them. And oh, they're so cute. She just made me this new one today. So I told her I would wear it. Okay, so what else do we need for our recipe? We have, I already measured it for you. Okay, so we're adding 2 tablespoons of light brown sugar. I don't include a lot of sugar in my recipes. I try and make them as healthy as possible. I think a little bit of sugar is okay. This is 2 tablespoons. You could do honey, you could omit it, up to you. Sesame oil, garlic powder, crushed red pepper flakes. So I'm gonna dump in our seasonings and the brown sugar, and then I'm gonna measure out the sesame oil. This is another thing, if you've never bought sesame oil before, totally worth buying. The flavor is so good. If you don't have it, you could substitute olive oil. I have done that. It does take a little bit away from the flavor, but it's still really good. Like your meal will still be delicious. All right, let's move some of these things out of the way. And we need soy sauce, 1/4 cup. I have on the recipe a 1/4 cup of low sodium soy sauce. I'm just using regular because that's what was in our refrigerator. But if you want to save a little extra sodium, you can get the low sodium soy sauce. And if you're trying to eat gluten-free, I would do the coconut aminos. Just use the exact same amount. Just use a 1/4 cup. What else? Is there anything else left in our recipe, or do we have it all? We got it. We're moving on. Oh, I just could tell you who liked this. So we did have member reviews. Patty, we had this tonight. It was delish. Kimberly, this one's a keeper for us. Joan, oh my gosh, didn't fry this ahead of time. Just made it fresh with thawed chicken thighs and ingredients cooked on low for 8 hours. Absolutely fabulous. Just a little heat. Second recipe from the site. Second one that hits it out of the ballpark. Okay, Joan is a super fan. I love you for saying that. You're the best. Recipe number 4 coming up. And that is stuffed pepper soup. Oh, I love this one. Oh, and this is good. I can point out I'm using these reusable bags. I'll tell you more about them. But I purposely picked this one for this recipe because you can see it has a little bit of a stain on it. I had tomato sauce and meatballs in here before, and so it got a little bit stained. If you put it outside in the sunshine, fun fact, that starts to take the stain out. Isn't the sun amazing? It can take like stains out of anything. But I didn't have time to do that. So I'm making it like this, and I'm using it in my tomato sauce meal because who cares? Now I'm putting the tomato sauce in. I don't have to worry about it. So let's do our stuffed pepper soup. We need wild rice, and I already have this. It's going in dry. Like I said, all of these meals are frozen raw. No cooking ahead of time. Just a 1/2 cup of rice. It really cooks. You're going to be surprised. It'll cook in the crock pot, cook in the Instant Pot. Trust me. If you didn't have wild rice, you could do white rice. That works too. We're going to use wild today. And we also need a green pepper and a red pepper diced. These look so good, so fresh. I hope you can see them. I diced them ahead of time because I knew I was going to tell you a lot of stories, share a lot of tips, and wanted to make sure we had time for everything. Normally, I try and keep my classes to an hour or less. I know your time is valuable. Thank you. Thank you for watching. So we have this, and I'm going to add a cup of those diced onions. We're going to use all of these. I bought 2 bags, and we're going to use them in all the meals, not all the meals, but we're going to use the full amount of the 2 bags in these recipes. Go ahead and dump this in here. And then we will add our canned goods. So we have diced tomatoes and tomato sauce. Okay. Our seasonings are Italian seasoning, salt, and garlic powder. And then you need beef broth, but I'm going to wait to add that the day of cooking. You don't have to do that. You could add it now if it fit in this bag. But I wait. It's easier to fit this in the crock pot. If you don't have to thaw it, you could just fit this in the crock pot this size. And if you're doing it in an Instant Pot, it helps it reach pressure so that it doesn't burn. So I'm going to wait. That's on your recipe. That's on your label. It tells you add 4 cups of beef broth when cooking. So if someone else is making this, if you're giving it as a gift or someone else in your household is going to be cooking it, they'll know exactly what to do. I wanted to tell you about how these can save you money. Now, this is a really budget-friendly way to make meals. I made this exact group of 12 meals before and spent $150. This time, I spent $175. I didn't use any coupons. I didn't shop sales. I just bought everything for class. But $175 for 12 meals, that works out to $14.58 per meal or $2.50 per serving. Like, you cannot beat that, right? I mean, I'm like a little embarrassed to admit this, but we ordered dinner from a local restaurant over the weekend and spent 74. don't feel bad. It's only $74 and I included delivery and a tip, but still, it's so expensive. And I read online recently the average American spends $3,000 a year eating out. That's eating out about 4 to 5 times a week. And like totally no judgment. Like we're obviously ordering food and like you have to do what you have to do. But when you have these meals, that's just such a nice way to offset those costs so that it is saving you money over time and just a way to like kind of find balance. So I really care about these being affordable. And I wanted to tell you a new message I just got on Instagram. So this was from Burzu. They said, your ad randomly popped up on my feed, so I thought, this looks interesting. I watched your training and I'm hooked. I have 3 teenage kids, a husband, 2 dogs, and a full-time job. This has been the exact thing I've been looking for to stop the last-minute cookout, maybe that's carry-out, and Chick-fil-A runs. I've only prepared 2 of the meals, but they were great. I even shared your information with my work team, mostly working moms, and just said, y'all gotta check this out. Just wanted to say thank you. I feel like the ship has been righted to eating healthy on a budget again. So I love sharing reviews and other people's experiences because obviously I love these meals, but I want to show you like other people love them too, and I know they're going to work for you. I think we have everything in our soup, so we are ready for our next recipe. Moving right along. Tuscan steak and green peppers. We're going to add some chopped green peppers. They're all in this bowl. I'm going to do another cup of frozen diced onions. We have some diced tomatoes, extra virgin olive oil, 2 tablespoons. And then our seasonings are Italian seasoning, salt, garlic powder, crushed red pepper flakes, and pepper. Now, when I told you about this class, I said they're for after baby. So what makes these meals so perfect for after baby arrives? Let me tell you, they can be eaten over 12 consecutive nights. Now, freezer meals can be saved in your freezer for up to 3 months. And you could do that. You could space these out. I usually do that. However, for these meals, I purposefully picked recipes with a variety of tastes, variety of textures, variety of cooking methods, so that you could eat these every single night if you just had a baby or you're giving them for someone with a baby. If someone just had surgery, they're meant to be eaten right in a row. And my family's gonna do that. We're gonna eat these probably for the next 2 weeks. You're gonna see even in here, okay, let me show you this. There is even, I don't normally do this, but there is a little meal planning calendar. I have to find it. I have to show you. So fun. Okay. There's a little calendar and tells you which meal to eat which night, so you don't feel like you're eating the same thing. I have like crock pot on Monday, skillet on Tuesday, crock pot Wednesday, skillet Thursday, Friday's off. That's if someone else makes you dinner, maybe you order out. Saturday's crock pot, Sunday's oven. So I have it all spaced out for you. I tell you exactly what to eat and when. If you want to follow it, no pressure, but that's just an added bonus. And I have all the side dishes listed. That's in your grocery list. It's on the recipes. Everything you need to have these meals. And I can promise you, they're not your mushy crockpot recipe. They're not your bland crockpot recipe. I know they're out there. I know people don't like them. These are going to change your mind. You're going to love them the very first time. I have this one on my membership site. People said, oh wow, this was so good. We're not usually a green pepper family, but I made this with some chopped bell peppers. It was a huge hit. I worried the steak would get dry or tough, but it's wonderfully tender. We will definitely make it again soon. Kim said, I served this over beef risotto. Yum, a family fave. And Amanda said, this is a huge family favorite. My husband said, keep this recipe in the rotation. That's a good sign. Let's move on. Let me make sure I have everything. Yeah, I do. These are coming right together. Let's do our white chicken chili. Okay, so for the white chicken chili, I need cannellini beans. These are a white bean. They are drained and rinsed. We need a cup of frozen diced onions. I mean, can you imagine having these like 12 meals ready to go? Like 2 weeks not having to worry about dinner. Especially if you had a new baby, like that is the best. Like there's nothing better than just like saving that time, taking that stress off your mind, not having to think about dinner, not having to worry about it. Like dinner is done. I am gonna add some more olive oil. One of the things I love about prepping these meals at once is you're just using your measuring spoons, your measuring cups, your knife, your cutting board one time. They get washed one time in the dishwasher. That's it. And in the future, you don't have to worry about that. It's just your crock pot or your Instant Pot or your skillet, however you cook it. We're gonna add some salsa verde. It's up to you. This is a medium heat. If you want to use mild, that's good. I've even made this with just regular red salsa if I couldn't find salsa verde, and that works too. Lots of options. And then our seasoning in this recipe is cumin, which is, oh, I think I had it in the beans. I actually like poured it on the top of the beans, so that already went into the bag. And the chicken broth will be added the day of cooking. Again, makes this easier to fit in the crock pot or Instant Pot. No burning, no problem. You could even probably make this in the stovetop too. So let's see, what do we have? Oh, okay. So I made these 12 meals years ago and shared them on my blog, The Family Freezer, and other people actually made them too. So I wanted to tell you what they said. Sarah said 5 friends got together and made these meals for 3 of us who were pregnant. So nice. And are due within a week of each other. They smelled fantastic, just putting the ingredients together. So we are all excited to dive in once our babies are born. Maggie said, I'm 37 weeks pregnant, just spent the afternoon making these with my mom's help. Can't wait to have these easy options once baby comes. And Bryn said, I love you, thank you. I'm 32 weeks pregnant and this is the lifesaver I have needed. Yay! So again, these have been like tested, tried and true recipes for you. Let's move on to recipe number 7. I love this recipe. It's a stovetop one. This is meant specifically for the stovetop, one of those 15-minute dinners. It's called chicken and sweet potato hash. I am going to add some diced sweet potatoes, which, fun fact, they freeze better than white potatoes if you've ever had issues with white potatoes in the past. These are peeled and diced. If you ordered them from the grocery store, note that you want the orange ones. I mean, the yellow would work, but I don't know what's with my grocery stores. It's like sometimes, I don't know if they're yams or sweet potatoes, but there's a difference, and one sometimes is yellow and one is sometimes orange, and it might matter who's doing the shopping for you, but I use the orange ones. And we are going to add fresh baby spinach, 3 ounces, or as I like to say, 3 handfuls. This all cooks down. It's very flavorful and very good for you. This is a 5-ounce bag, so I will have 2 ounces left over. And what I'm gonna do is just put it in a small freezer bag and I'll just freeze it. This is so great to put into soup. Actually, I wonder if one of our recipes today I could just dump this in there. Let's say, I think I'm gonna put it in my stuffed pepper soup. So I have stuffed pepper soup. Instead of freezing this for later, I'm actually gonna go ahead and use the whole bag, and I'm just gonna throw it into our stuffed pepper soup. Just get some extra veggies. I love spinach cooked in the crock pot. I didn't know I was a fan of spinach until I started making it in my crock pot, and I love it. It just cooks down, it wilts, it tastes so flavorful. Olive oil. I love this recipe on the stovetop. Okay, we need apple cider vinegar. Has a really nice flavor. You might have noticed I'm using reusable freezer bags, and I am using these stands. Maybe you're thinking, what are these things? What is holding up her bags? Let me tell you, these are these baggy stands, and these are all our brand. These are the Family Freezer brand. After trying so many other brands, after using so many other bags, we finally decided just to create our own and to find a manufacturer who could make what we wanted, what works for our style of freezer meals. We sell them on our website. I have the link on your freebie. We typically order a few thousand at a time, and then when they sell out, we order more. So depending on when you check, they might be sold out, they might not. These are really cool. These keep the bags upright when you're filling them, and these are just nice to use over and over again. They don't leak. Good for the environment. I recommend these. Let's see. Oh, Kimberly sent me a message. I feel like I get these messages every day. I pulled some from the last week I wanted to share with you. I have now watched a few of your classes. After the first, I bought your membership and I made my first group of meals. I split them into 2 bags since I'm by myself. I made over 100 meals for $225. And then in July, I moved from Pennsylvania to Alabama. I had a few meals left in my freezer, so I gave them to my son and his girlfriend, and they love them. And then when I moved to my new home, the first thing that didn't work was the stove. So I had to order a new one, which was on back order for 3 months. But never fear, the family freezer meals are here. First thing I did was head to the grocery store, get supplies, and make a couple months of meals. Thank you for this incredible plan. Kimberly, like, you're a rock star. Good job. And I had a message, Nancy. So Nancy tried this exact recipe. I just cooked this from the freezer the other day, and it was great. I'm planning to make this again. So I'm excited to make that one too. Let's move on to recipe number 8, Japanese beef teriyaki. This is our recipe that we saved our fresh diced ginger for. And I'm also going to add some sliced green pepper. I try to include a lot of fresh veggies in these meals. I always care about them being as healthy as possible while tasting great. We'll put our ginger in. We need soy sauce. Okay. I have to tell you, if you are one of our members, thank you so much. If you've taken the time to write comments, to leave reviews, I really appreciate it. I know it helps other members, and it makes me so happy and like really motivates me to read your comments. So thank you. I'll tell you some of the ones on this recipe. This is one of our favorites. It is in almost every meal plan I create. I usually have a larger batch or there won't be enough. That was Stephanie. Robin, I'm sold. My first recipe from you, and it was as good as everyone said. Only 2 of us, but I have another dinner ready to go for our work week. That's great for the leftovers. Eva, I made this for dinner tonight with a side of broccoli. Truly delicious. My husband is Japanese, gave it the nod. Authentic flavors, super easy to make, and I used arrowroot flour instead of cornstarch. So I'll tell you what else is in this recipe, including cornstarch. I have rice wine vinegar, light brown sugar, cornstarch, onion powder, garlic powder, sesame seeds. I'm just going to pour that in. I kind of mix it up ahead of time. And I think that means we're ready to move on. Okay. Chicken fajitas. This is another one that can be stovetop, crock pot. I have all your instructions. We need sliced peppers. I sliced up a yellow pepper. Doesn't this look so pretty? Yellow pepper, orange pepper. I have some limes I'm going to juice. We'll dump the peppers in. Our seasonings are chili powder, cumin, paprika, garlic powder, crushed red pepper flakes. Very flavorful. I love using seasonings in my cooking, so everything has a lot of flavor. Let me just gonna rinse off the juicer that I used for my lemon, so I can do it for the lime. Sometimes I just juice my lemons and limes with a fork. I saw Rachel Ray do that once and decided, hey, if it's good enough for Rachel Ray, it's good enough for me. But I have out my little juicer here, my little hand juicer today, so might as well use it for both recipes. And also for our fajitas, we need a cup of diced onions and some honey. All right. Getting to the bottom of these onions. I wonder if this is the end. We're very close, if not. Okay, honey. It's so fun, like when I'm setting up and I have everything, all the ingredients out, and then they all disappear. They just all end up in the freezer. So whenever I made the 27 meals when I was pregnant with my 3rd daughter, we were able to store them in an extra refrigerator freezer that we had in our garage. So if you have an extra freezer, you can fit a lot of meals in there. Like that would be ideal. Otherwise, if you're just using your regular freezer, just clean it out as much as you can to save as many as you can. Or if you're making them for someone else, maybe you could deliver a handful at a time. Now we have a big chest freezer, so it's like the sky is the limit. That's what I bought when I was making those 40 meals when I was pregnant with my fourth child, my son. Now, oh, I should point out this works for a lot of different diets. So most of my recipes are naturally gluten-free, naturally dairy-free, really easy to adjust. I'll show you how you can even search on our membership site. It's really easy. And we're ready. Oh, let's read some reviews. Jen, so yummy and easy. I think next time I'll add more onions and peppers to make it go even further because everyone wanted thirds. Kirsten, my family loves this. The chicken marinade in the spices as it thaws. Very tasty. Okay, so that's a good point too, because when you make these on the stovetop, I do recommend thawing them. Like, think about that. You can't take like a big frozen block, put it in a pan, and then cook it. Like, it would be better if it thawed overnight in the fridge, or if you thaw a bag in water. I'll do a cooking demo a little bit later in the class just to show you how I do cook these meals. Our turkey burger macaroni is recipe number 10. This is the end of the frozen diced onions. So we have about a cup left. I'm just gonna add them to the bag. We're using every last bit. Nothing's going to waste, nothing left over. Okay, then we are adding tomato juice. This is kind of a healthier take on hamburger helper. That's what this is. This is your like homemade hamburger helper. It's a turkey burger macaroni. You could use beef too. I'm sure it would still be a healthier version. Okay, and what I poured in was tomato juice, Worcestershire sauce, apple cider vinegar, pepper, ground mustard, and garlic powder. All in your recipe. I'll be adding the ground turkey, and then when you cook this, you add a cup of uncooked elbow noodles. You just add those right to the pan and just all cooks them together. Jody said, we love this with ground turkey or beef. Super easy, great to feed our 4 teenage boys. Now we're gonna move on and do the last 2 recipes are for the oven, which I'm very excited about. The first one is zucchini lasagna. It's using zucchini instead of lasagna noodles. And I just wanna show you how easy it is. So with the zucchini, I bought this very cheap, inexpensive mandolin on Amazon. It was about 20 bucks. You don't need this. I have made this for years and just used a knife to slice the zucchini. But if you did have this, or even if you could borrow one, it makes it so much easier and really makes the slices so nice. So my husband was helping me like prep for this class and slices, and he's like, I am good at this. He was really proud of his zucchini slices. So maybe if you just you're just feeling a little down and you need to feel good about yourself, you need to buy one of these mandolins and give it a try. You're gonna be happy. So what I've done with the zucchini is it's all sliced up. This was 4 zucchini, and I put them in the 3 piles. Sometimes you have like these little tiny slices or these uneven ones, and they don't look good. So my idea was you have one pile that's like the nicest ones, and those go on the top. And the other ones go underneath. These all do look really good. Andy, you are very good at slicing zucchini. But all you do is, so let's make sure I'm layering these first thing. Okay, so an entire layer of the pan is zucchini. So I'm taking one pile and I'm layering these in my pan. I'm using a disposable pan so that when I cook these, you can throw it away. You could absolutely, if you have extra pans, use them. Sometimes when you're pregnant, you just can't do all the dishes either. So this is for the pregnant ladies out there. You'll be able to throw this away after baby or wash it and reuse it, up to you. Then we add half of our cheese filling, which I pre-mixed. And the cheese filling is basically like a lasagna. Mozzarella cheese, ricotta cheese, Parmesan, eggs, parsley, salt and pepper. And okay, so we're gonna add half of this right now. I'm just gonna spoon it on and spread it around. And then I'm gonna add a little drizzle of pasta sauce. And I want you to listen and pay attention because I know you're gonna email me and you're gonna say, oh, I wanted to add more sauce, or are you sure that's enough sauce? And the answer is yes, this is the perfect amount of sauce. It's not a lot. We only use half a cup in the whole recipe. That seems like nothing, right? Like if it was a lasagna, you would use so much more. Oh, I don't want to use that half cup. Okay, so I'm gonna measure out a half cup to really keep myself honest on this. And I'm just gonna drizzle like half of it on the top of my zucchini. And the reason is that the zucchini releases so much liquid when cooking. So if you put a ton of sauce in this recipe, it's not going to be good. It's going to be like zucchini soup. It's not going to be solid like a lasagna works out. Lasagna, think about it, the noodles really need that, but not for zucchini. So I learned that the hard way. This was a recipe. Oh, I used to be obsessed with this recipe. I made it all the time. So trust me on this one. We have our second layer of zucchini. We have our second and last layer of cheese filling. And then I will add the sauce. This is so good. You won't miss the pasta. If someone is maybe eating gluten-free or they're trying to eat like low carb, this could be a good recipe for them. I just like to sneak extra veggies into our meal. Although I'll tell you, we normally eat this with garlic bread. So we're still having bread, but hey, we're having some bread with some veggies. I'm going to call that a win. And then we have let's see if our sauce goes on next. Oh no, okay, hold up. The sauce goes on at the very end. I'm reading the directions, I'm following them. I trust my former self. So we're going to save that so the top looks extra pretty. I'm layering this on. I'm going to put on the sauce, sprinkle on some mozzarella cheese. I have another message that I just got on Instagram the other day. It was from the Strangham, and she said, "I'm never going back. I wish I would have found you sooner. Your method makes me feel like I'm killing it as a mom. Making anything, let alone healthy meals for my family, has always been one of those areas in my life where I feel like a complete failure. Not intentionally failing, but it always seems so complicated making a healthy meal that everyone can enjoy," right? Thank you from the bottom of my heart. The family freezer has been absolutely life-changing for me and my family. So that's so nice. Thank you for sending that to me if you're watching. That's just so nice, and I'm glad these are working for you too. That's it. Our zucchini lasagna is ready. I'm putting foil on the top. This can be cooked from completely frozen. The label is on the top of the foil. I recommend putting it on first because otherwise you stick it on, it might fall through. And we will do our very last meal, which is a winner. It's sausage stuffed mini peppers. If you remember, you probably already made this, right? It's so good. So easy. All we need to do is put sauce in the bottom of our pan. Okay. This calls for a 24-ounce jar of spaghetti sauce, but I'm using this one because I bought it for the other recipe, and we're just going to make it work. And then, now the next part involves the meat, so that means we are moving on to adding meat to all of our dishes at once. Here we go. Now, let me show you these little peppers. You buy bags of these at the grocery store. My husband Andy helped me. He already stuffed a bunch of them for us because it does take me a little bit of time to do that. So I'm going to add the stuffed peppers to the sauce because they're ready. And then I'll show you just quickly how to do the remaining ones. All you need to do is cut off the tops. These were already washed. Then you kind of take out the seeds. You don't have to get every single one. It doesn't have to be perfect. I wrote that in your recipe. You don't have to get every single one. No perfection required. This is going to be amazing though. This is such an easy, flavorful recipe. And then you stuff them with sausage. Yes, regular, raw Italian sausage. It is not cooked. It is raw. We're going to stuff them. We're adding them to our sauce. Then we add a little more sauce on the top and we top with mozzarella cheese. And then I'm going to start adding meat to all of my recipes because I saved it for the end so that my hands would only get messy once. My knife and cutting board would only touch the meat once. We would have absolutely no concerns about cross-contamination or any other issues. We're going to do it at once and be done. And then I'll wash my hands. Okay. So I'm going to get out all of the meat that I need now. Okay. I'm going to finish this recipe since we're almost done with it. All we need to do is add the extra sauce. Now I have my messy hand that was touching all that sausage, so I'm not even going to use it. I'm going to use my other hand. I'm being ambidextrous today. I'm going to put the sauce on and then the mozzarella. Oh, I can use this hand. We're going to use the entire bag of mozzarella. Add it to the top. It might seem like a lot. you don't want to add it all, you don't have to, but when this bakes and that cheese browns in the oven, it is so good. We serve this with spaghetti. So even I have like, let's say 2 kids who won't eat meat. If they won't eat this, they can just have spaghetti and sauce. Like, that's fine. I'm calling it a win. The other kids will eat it, my husband and I love it. So this is done. We add our foil top. And then I'm going to add the meat to all of my other recipes and add them to the freezer. Let's see where I can put this. All right. I'll just quickly get back to my list. Okay, we have turkey for our black bean chili. Sorry I have to turn my back to you to add this. I'm not sure. I have a ton of meals behind me, so I'm going to have to figure out if I'm going to pick them up and bring them over. Maybe. Ooh, maybe I'll do it while I still have one clean hand. Our chicken noodle soup. Now I'm going to add the chicken breasts whole. These look pretty good. I might want to trim that one. I'm going to add my chicken breasts whole and shred them after cooking. Okay. Korean barbecue chicken. I think for every recipe, I'm going to add the chicken breasts whole and shred them after cooking. The only time that doesn't work is for something you want to make on the stove top. So let's think about our chicken fajitas. That could be a stovetop recipe or a crock pot. If I want to make it on my stovetop, you wouldn't want fajitas with entire chicken breasts. And they probably wouldn't shred after being on the stovetop. So I would recommend, in that case, cutting or slicing the chicken into bite-sized pieces before freezing it. And then adding it to the bags already cut up. Then it works perfectly like sauteed in a pan. Just like when you think about chicken fajitas or ordering them at a restaurant, they're just like sauteed in a pan. I think I'm going to add mine whole because we use our crock pot and our Instant Pot so much. I'll just end up cooking it that way. We have some sliced beef. I just go to the store. I think I have sirloin tip roast included in your recipe, but I just picked the one that looked really lean, not too fatty. This goes in the Japanese beef teriyaki and then also the Tuscan steak and green peppers. I bought the same type of meat for them. It just looked really good. I actually ordered all of my groceries online for this class, but except for this meat, I wanted to pick this like specific beef. I wanted to look at the beef myself and see which one looked, I don't know, just looked the best. I didn't want anything too fatty. I didn't trust my online shopper to pick what I wanted for this. But it gets so tender when it's cooked. All we have left is our chicken. Okay, I'm going to put this in our chicken chili. Oh, I want to trim it. Okay. What I did, so every recipe I have the amount of meat you need. It might be a pound of meat, it might be 2 pounds. But what I did when I was shopping is I just bought like 1 container per recipe. So for the chicken, I wasn't stressing about trying to get exactly 1 pound or exactly 2 pounds. I think a lot of these containers have like 1.5 pounds, and that's totally fine. Especially for my family of 7, like we can make it work. So the only one I'm going to chop is for my chicken and sweet potato hash because that is a stovetop meal and I will make that on the stovetop. It's such a great meal that way and I really think it'd be better than the crock pot. So I am going to take the time to chop that for you. Just do that ahead of time and add it to the bag so you can see how that works and just to have that option. Now, if you're thinking about when to make these meals, so if you're pregnant right now, what I recommend is starting probably around like 32 weeks. Now, if you want to just make these 12 meals, this is going to take you, I would say, less than 2 hours. So you can make them anytime. But I kind of think when you start earlier, let's say 32 weeks, you still feel pretty good. You still could be on your feet if you want, or like I said, get a stool, sit down while you're making the meals. But so you have that time, and the meals are good for at least 3 months in the freezer. I've never had a meal go bad. We've probably had meals that were in there a lot longer than that, but I'm going to stick to the recommendation of 3 months, use it within 3 months. We never have a problem. We always eat ours normally right away. But if you were making these when you're pregnant, I would probably start around 32 weeks. That would give you a lot of time to stock your freezer. You'd be able to eat them at least a month after your baby arrives. And you could, if you end up making more meals, like I'm just saying, if you had the freezer space, not saying you have to be the crazy person like I was when I was pregnant with my son, but maybe even just make like a couple more meals. I'll show you on our Freezer Meal Pro membership site how you can just like how quickly you can plan more meals, how if like you get on a roll. You're like, oh, you know what? Chicken's on sale. I want to add a couple more. Or like, oh, you know, I really like this other recipe. You get hooked. That's the problem. Once you start making these meals, you do get hooked and you just keep making more and more and more. Okay. Almost done. So after these are done, I will do, I want to show you quickly how our membership site works, and I want to make sure I do a cooking demo for you. I want to show you how these meals are actually made when they come out of the freezer. It's just a really quick demo, but I'll show you my crock pot, I'll show you my Instant Pot, just very briefly how it works. These are for my chicken fajitas that I'm making in my crock pot or Instant Pot. And then the turkey burger macaroni is our last one. You're gonna have to give me a minute after this to wash my hands. I'll have to turn my back to you just to do that and really get cleaned up quickly. Okay, let me just move everything that touched raw meat over to my sink. I'll clean that later. I'm just gonna wash my hands. Okay, that was a messy one, but we're good. And these meals, all they have to do is be sealed up and added to the freezer. So simple. And then I just kind of like, let me show you how I get the air out. Now, what I do is I try to seal the bag so you have about an inch left at the end, and then kind of roll it out, finish the seal, and then flatten. And you can stack these in the freezer, so you can probably see how you can fit a lot more in the freezer than you thought you could, even if you don't have a lot of space. So if you're thinking, oh, I really want to make these meals, I've been meaning to make them, I just don't have enough space. Okay, I'm gonna take a minute, I'm gonna have a little intervention with you. You need to clean out your freezer, okay? You open up your freezer and you have to go through and you get rid of anything old and expired, okay? That food needs to go, you don't need it anymore, you're never going to eat it. So I feel bad about wasting food, but get it over with, rip off the Band-Aid and make space for your new life of easy and healthy meals. Just do it once, promise yourself you'll never do it again. So you're gonna get rid of everything old, or maybe everything in there is good. That's fine. What I would do is maybe for the next week or 2 weeks, you plan all of your meals based on what's in your freezer. And then you eat. So if you have like chicken in there, you're like, okay, I'm gonna have chicken on Monday. Or if you have a lasagna in there, you're gonna have lasagna on Tuesday. You just plan it out so that by the end of that week or 2 weeks, you have space. And think how much money you would save while you were eating those meals or those ingredients that you already have. Maybe it's frozen veggies you could eat as a side dish, whatever it may be. Maybe it's ice cream and you're like, look, Kelly told me I have to eat this, so I need to eat ice cream every night. Hey, no judgment, I get it. I'm really into these like cheese pretzels. They're kind of like, do you ever have Ritz Bits when you were younger? Like those ooh, I'm making a mess. Those crackers that had cheese in the middle. They're like that, but they're pretzels and they have cheese in the middle. Oh, they're so good. That's like my guilty pleasure right now. Let me grab, you know what? I'm gonna use my apron. I was gonna get a paper towel, but I am done making meals, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use my apron. I'm just gonna dry this off, wipe off the counter so I don't get spaghetti sauce on any more of my meals. Okay, I will tell you these aprons hold up over time. The one I was wearing before I had for years and years and years, and there wasn't even anything wrong with it. My mom was like, do you want a new color? She's always doing like new colors and new patterns. And I'm like, yeah, like it's like as fun as like going shopping, you know, for a new season, just wanting to wear something new. Okay, final recipe. And I am going to add these to my freezer. I cleaned it out. I do not have enough room for 12 recipes in my regular fridge freezer. But we cleaned it out before this class because our chest freezer is in our garage. And I didn't want to have to run out to the garage in the middle of class. So we'll move these out to our chest freezer after class and then bring back in, oh, what do we have in there? Eggo waffles, chicken nuggets, all the same old stuff that a lot of people have who have kids. Okay, we have 2 pans. Don't forget about those that are also going in here. So these are all easily fitting in my freezer. And my freezer is not big. So they fit in here if you had nothing else. Now, I hope by this point you have had like a light bulb moment. You're like, these are going to change my life. These are going to work for me. And so I just want to take a moment to show you how my membership site works. I know a lot of members here. It'll be a good refresher for you too. All I have to do is grab my other mic, my computer, because I really want to show you how it works. Okay, this is Freezer Meal Pro, and you can log in to view all of my easy and healthy recipes that can be frozen without any cooking ahead of time. And you can scroll through these photos, but I want to show you some of the really cool search features. So let's say that we want to add another chicken freezer meal. Maybe chicken's on sale at the grocery store, and you can search by keyword here and then display all the chicken recipes. So immediately this honey sesame chicken is jumping out to me. This is my kids' one of their favorite recipes. When you go into the recipe, you can see the ingredients. Super simple. How to freeze it, how to cook it in the crock pot. This one has Instant Pot directions and then full nutritional info. That's available for every recipe on the site. Since I know I want to make this, all I do is click the little shopping cart icon. And then I want to show you some other search features. So let's say I'm on a special diet. Here are our diet options: dairy-free, diabetic, gluten-free, ketogenic, paleo, vegetarian. I'm going to go ahead and click gluten-free. Let's see what our options are here. Lots of options for people who are eating gluten-free. Let's say we can just like kind of look through the photos. I am going to go ahead and pick this basic barbecue marinated chicken because it's a grill recipe. Like, I love having options. Very simple recipe, has the ingredients and the how to cook it on the grill, the full nutritional info. I'm going to go ahead and add this to my shopping cart, and then I'll show you some other search options. Let's look under protein because I want to show you some options for vegetarian meals. I know some people are eating more vegetarian, plant-based meals now. There's a lot of options to choose from, very easy to freeze. I want to make this chickpea tikka masala. We didn't do any Indian recipes today, and this one is so flavorful. It's actually really good with chickpeas being a vegetarian dish or made with chicken. But you can see all of the info. I click my little shopping cart, and then what else can I show you? Let's do cooking method. Our options are crockpot, grill, Instant Pot, oven, and stovetop. I am going to go ahead and pick stovetop. Maybe just have another 15-minute dinner option when you're just kind of like scrambling, you need something really quick. These chicken Philly cheesesteak sloppy joes are so good. Another really family-friendly meal, which is good if you have other kids at home. I love a easy stovetop meal. Go ahead and click the shopping cart icon. And what else do I want to show you? Let's say that we want to add another, I'm gonna do cooking method and do crock pot because I feel like we've made a lot of really good recipes today, but if you wanted to add a couple extra, maybe you're like, hey, I'm on a roll here. I would just pick a couple crock pot because they're so fast, so simple. And I'm gonna go with this teriyaki pork tenderloin. We didn't do any pork recipes. I love this one. Simple ingredients, really delicious, easy to make, crock pot, instant pot. Add to our shopping list. And now I'm gonna show you, this is where the magic happens, because when you go up to shopping list, you go to my shopping list and you are gonna see the recipes that I just selected, also a full shopping list. Like that just happened before your eyes in less than 5 minutes. I think it took me like 3 or 4 minutes, generated a full shopping list organized by aisle at the grocery store. You can go through and say, oh, I already have these seasonings. I don't need those. You can go through and just say, oh, okay, I have ketchup, and figure out exactly what you need at the store. And another really cool feature is you can adjust the number of servings. So let's say these all are the default of 6 servings. If you wanted to make them, maybe you wanted, hold on a second. I'm going to show you just for one recipe. Let's say chicken is on sale, and so you wanted to make 2 honey sesame chicken. We could double that to 12. We could double our marinated basic barbecue marinated chicken to 12, and that auto generates the shopping list. I don't know if you saw that oil go up when I was adjusting this one up here. I'll show you. I'm taking it back down to 6. Let's say we're just going to leave it as is. We have our additional 5 recipes, and then I can go to print menu. I'm not actually going to print it, but I want to show you how cool this is. So it's our full shopping list ready to print and all of the recipes. So like literally in 5 minutes, I picked 5 meals, searched ones that would be great to add to this menu, had a full shopping list, like mind blown. We're ready to stock our freezer even more. If you haven't joined yet, all you need to do is go to freezermealpro.com/newbaby. That's let's make sure I spell it right. freezermealpro.com/newbaby. Now, not my regular website. Make sure you use that new baby link because that's where you're going to find you can join for a one-time fee. There are no strings attached, no annoying monthly charges that you don't know are coming. You use this over and over and over again to stock your freezer with easy and healthy meals. Now let's scroll down and I'll show you what else is included. You can read people who have used the site and love it. I know a lot of our members are here today. Thank you guys so much. Like, you're seriously the best. So encouraging. You can read more about me and why I love freezer meals, more about our members, if the recipe site will work for you. And I just want to highlight this. So we have this bonus going on. You can access all of our cookbook ebooks in Freezer Meal Pro. So right now we have over 20 instant downloads. These are our cookbook ebooks. They all have shopping lists. They have labels in them. And you can go in anytime, go to your download section and access any of these, which are great for prepping freezer meals. And whenever I write new ebooks, they are added to the site for free. When I write new blog posts, they're added to Freezer Meal Pro for free as well. Now, if you know you want to join, you would click Add to Cart. And I want to share a coupon code with you. Now, our site, our memberships only go on sale twice a year, but you took this time out of your day to attend a class. If I can, I always like to share a coupon code for my class participants because thank you. Like, you took the time out of your day. This is your chance to save even more money. So we created a coupon code for you called New Baby. And if you use that coupon code, it's going to take 20% off your joining fee. Now, if you pay $97, if you're here today and you already paid $97 to join, do not feel bad. Give yourself a pat on the back. $97 is a steal. Like, don't feel bad about it. That's a great price. If you can join, though, in the next 2 days, you can save even more. Use the New Baby coupon to save an extra $19.40, bringing your price down to $77.60. This is 2 days only. If you are not able or ready to buy it now, no problem. Like I said, buy it later for $97 and feel great about it. But if you can join now, I absolutely want you to save that money. I totally want you to get that deal for taking the time to join this class. Again, it's only good for 2 days. I know somebody's going to email me next week. Probably multiple people are going to email me next week and ask me about it. They'll say, is it on sale? I'm going to say, sorry, it really never goes on sale. So if you can, like really, now is the time. And then you just click proceed to checkout. You enter your first name, last name, a little bit of info, your email address. This is important because this is where we're going to send your tips. I'll start sending you tips immediately about logging into Pro, how to search for the best recipes, my favorite way to make shopping lists, etc. So make sure you get your right email address and join the newsletter because I send tons of freebies there as well. You put in your credit card info, you click place order, and you go check that email because immediately you're going to start getting free info from me. All right, so I want to show you just like how this works if you have a freezer meal and you're ready to cook it for dinner. I'm going to bring over my crock pot, my Instant Pot, and just show you how it would work. Let's get out one of the meals that we made today. I will do, this is right on the top, Korean barbecue chicken. So we'll look at our label for the crock pot. Cook on low for 4 to 6 hours, shred chicken and stir. Now, that means you take off the lid. If this is completely frozen, you can either thaw it overnight in the refrigerator. If you don't remember, I never remember, you can even thaw this in water or just run it under water so that it'll loosen from the bag. You get all your sauces and spices and you get everything out of it. My slow cooker says you can add frozen meat, so I don't need to thaw it. Maybe check your model. If you have a really old one, you might not be able to add frozen meat, but I'm good. You just dump this in, you put on the lid, and then I have a timer. This is just like a basic model from Amazon, like $40, but the timer, so I could program 4 hours for my chicken and then forget about it, and it can sit on warm for the rest of the day, no problem. I think it actually tastes better when it sits on warm, and then it'll be ready at dinner time. If I do it in my Instant Pot, okay, we follow our directions. You have to dump this in. It can be completely frozen if it fits in. And then you press saute for 5 minutes. That just releases a little bit of liquid. Then you flip it over because we don't want it to burn. Now this says you can add 2 cups water or broth. I'm just giving you an option if you want to add a little extra liquid to this recipe in the Instant Pot. I don't want it to burn. That's up to you. And then I would pressure cook. Oh, put on the lid. It's hard to do this from this angle. What am I doing wrong here? Let's just imagine the lid is on. Okay, so then you pressure cook for 25 minutes if it's completely frozen and do a natural release. That makes that chicken able to shred. It's so tender. It's so good. You're going to love it. Just as good as the crock pot too. So that's how we would cook it. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much. Like, I really appreciate you. I love teaching you. Thank you for being here. If you have any questions, respond to my email with that freebie, and I will be sure to get back to you ASAP. If you have pictures of your full freezer, if you have new baby pictures, those are encouraged. You can send those too. And I just can't tell you like how many emails and messages we're getting like every day, every week, and it motivates me to keep going, keep sharing. So I am grateful for you. Thank you so much, and I will see you later.